During the time of the dinosaurs, there were some animals that looked so strange that if you saw them, you would think they came from movies or video games. But in reality, they actually existed in our world. And in this video, we will talk about some of the weirdest prehistoric animals that lived on Earth and were discovered by scientists. So, let's get started. Number 12, Quetzalcoatlus. Imagine an animal that's almost as tall as a giraffe, but can also fly. That's the Quetzalcoatlus. It's one of the largest flying animals that ever lived on Earth. Its fossils were discovered in Texas in the 1970s. According to scientists, its wingspan was over 30 feet. That's even wider than some small airplanes today. But what's even more surprising is that it didn't look like a normal bird. It had a long neck, a long beak, and it didn't have any teeth. Its body was thin and light, while its wings were like those of a bat. They were made of thin skin, not feathers. When you look at it, it's like a mix of a giraffe, a bird, and a dragon. And even though it's huge, it can still fly. But that's not all. According to scientists, it was also good at walking on land. It didn't crawl like an ordinary lizard. Because its legs stood upright, its movement was more efficient while walking. This means it didn't just fly up high. It could also roam the land while searching for food. And just think about that for a moment. An animal almost as tall as a giraffe. Then suddenly, it would fly right in front of you. Up to now, there still hasn't been a complete skeleton of Quetzalcoatlus found. That's why there are still some things that scientists are debating about, like its exact weight and how it hunted. But one thing is certain. It's one of the weirdest and most impossible-looking creatures. Back in the time of the dinosaurs. Number 11, Therizinosaurus. If there's a dinosaur that looks like it's made up of parts from different animals, this is it. At first glance, its appearance is already unusual. It has a long neck, a small head, and a big belly. And most of all, its claws are extremely long. Each claw of the Therizinosaurus is almost 1 meter long. It's like a giant sickle attached to its hand. Honestly, when you first see this dinosaur, you would think it's a very dangerous predator. But surprisingly, it's possible that it only ate plants, even though it belongs to the same group of meat-eating dinosaurs like T-Rex. Its evolution was different. Instead of becoming a fierce hunter, it developed a long neck and a large belly, which are more suited for eating leaves and plants. According to scientists, it may have used its long claws to pull down tree branches in order to reach its food. But when its fossils were first discovered, scientists were really confused because of its extremely long claws. They couldn't immediately tell what kind of animal they had found, because it didn't look like a normal dinosaur. It looked like a mix between a giant bird, a sloth, and a monster. As more fossils were discovered over time, only then did its true appearance gradually come together. And as scientists learned more about it, they realized just how unique it was. Because out of all the dinosaurs discovered, Therizinosaurus is one of those with the most awkward and strangest appearance in the entire prehistoric world. Number 10, Deinocheirus. At first glance, it looks like this dinosaur was made incorrectly, as if different parts from different animals were stitched together. And for many years, scientists really only knew one thing about it: its extremely large arms. When its fossils were first discovered, only 2 giant arms were found. And because its claws were so long and huge, many scientists back then thought it might have been a very fierce predator. But as time went on, more fossils were found. And that's when the true, real appearance of Deinocheirus started to come together. And it turned out to be really unique. Instead of being a fast and terrifying hunter like other theropod dinosaurs, it looked more like a strange giant animal that was a mix of a duck, a camel, and a dinosaur. It had long arms, wide feet, and a large, heavy body. It even had a hump on its back like a camel, and its head looked like a duck's bill. It also didn't look like it could run fast. Its legs were short compared to its body, making its movements look heavier and more awkward. According to scientists, it's also possible that it didn't eat only meat. There is evidence showing that it also ate plants and fish. This means it was an omnivore. That's probably why its body was so unusual. Its arms, its large belly, and its unusual beak were probably suited to its way of eating. As paleontologists continue to study this dinosaur, they realized even more that almost every part of its body was unusual. The arms were very large and the feet were extremely wide. Its back was high because of the long bones in its spine, and its head seemed out of place compared to the rest of its body. It really looked like an experimental version of a dinosaur, and that's why it's one of the weirdest dinosaurs discovered by science. Number 9, Amargasaurus. If you look at it from afar, it just looks like a normal long-necked dinosaur. But once you notice its neck, that's when everything starts to get unusual. On the back of its neck, there are 2 rows of long spikes sticking upward. It's like a dinosaur with giant spikes on its neck. According to scientists, these spikes are actually part of its spinal bones. These are actually real and not just made up. What scientists are still unsure about is what the skin between those spikes looked like when the animal was alive. Some scientists believe there might have been a thin layer of skin between the spikes, while others think the spikes were more exposed. But whichever is correct, one thing is clear. Its neck looks very unusual. Most long-necked dinosaurs look simple. Long neck, long tail, big body. But the Amargasaurus looks like it has natural armor on its neck. Because of this, it looks fiercer and more dramatic compared to other plant-eating dinosaurs. And even though it's not one of the biggest sauropod dinosaurs, its appearance is easy to remember because of its unique neck. Honestly, even just seeing its silhouette, it's hard to mistake it for an ordinary dinosaur. Number 8, Nigersaurus. This is the dinosaur with one of the weirdest mouths in the prehistoric world. At first glance, it looks like a normal, long-necked dinosaur. But when you see its head, your impression will suddenly change. Its mouth is very wide and full of small teeth at the front of its jaw. According to scientists, it has way more teeth compared to most dinosaurs. And what's even stranger is that there are new teeth waiting behind the ones it's currently using. This means that as its teeth wear out or get damaged, they are quickly replaced. It's like a conveyor belt of teeth. Because of this, people often compare it to a vacuum cleaner. But the real purpose of its mouth is to quickly eat plants close to the ground. It's not like other long-necked dinosaurs that reach for tall trees. According to studies by scientists, its head was often bent down while searching for food. So instead of looking up, it was usually focused on the ground. And because its skull was very light and thin, it looked even more unusual. Its head seemed too small and delicate for its large body. And that's exactly the reason why Nigersaurus is easy to remember. Its body looks like a normal sauropod dinosaur, but its face looks like it was made for a very special job. Quickly eating low-growing plants all day long. Number 7, Kosmoceratops. There are already many dinosaurs with horns, but Kosmoceratops seems a bit too much. When you see its head, it looks like there's almost no empty space left, because it's full of horns, curves, and sharp bones. With so many decorations on its head, it looks more like a creature from a fantasy movie than a real dinosaur. This dinosaur was discovered in Utah, United States. It belongs to the same group as Triceratops, but its appearance is more unusual compared to the more well-known horned dinosaurs. It has a horn above its eye. There are protruding bones on the sides of the frill, or the large plate at the back of the head, and instead of having a simple head shape, it's full of curves and sharp parts. Honestly, if you only saw its silhouette, it would look like a very complicated mask. And that's exactly why this dinosaur is easy to remember. Most horned dinosaurs only have 1 or 2 horns that really stand out. But with the Kosmoceratops, almost every part of its head has its own decoration. According to scientists, most of these might not be for fighting or defense. Its unique head might have been used for something else, to help other dinosaurs recognize its species, to attract a mate, or to show dominance over other members of the group. just like animals today that use colorful feathers or large horns to show off and display themselves. This means its extremely unusual head was possibly part of this dinosaur's social life. And even now, there are still some details that aren't certain, like the exact appearance of its skin and the covering of its horns when it was alive. But it's clear from the fossils that this is one of the most complex heads in the entire dinosaur world. When you really look at it, it's like evolution tried to make a horned dinosaur as extravagant as possible. Number 6, Yuchi. This is the kind of dinosaur you wouldn't really expect to have existed, because when it was first discovered in China, many scientists were surprised by its unusual wings. Most dinosaurs that had the ability to fly are connected to birds and use feathers to fly. But Yuchi is different. It also has feathers, but it also has a thin skin membrane, like the wings of a bat. This means it's like a combination of a dinosaur, a bird, and a bat in one body. This dinosaur is very small compared to the others on the list, but it's one of the weirdest when it comes to evolution. Because while other dinosaurs were slowly evolving into modern birds, Yuchi seemed to try a different way. Instead of just feathered wings, it developed a unique bone near its wrist that helped support its membrane wing. And because of this, it really looked different compared to normal dinosaurs. It's like a natural experiment. Until now, scientists are still studying how well it could fly. Some studies suggest that it might not have been good at long-distance flying like modern birds. It's believed that it was more suited for gliding from tree to tree. It's like a flying squirrel, but the dinosaur version. But even though the exact way it flew isn't certain yet, one thing is clear. It looked very meek, and that's why, even today, it's still one of the strangest discoveries in dinosaur paleontology. Number 5, Microraptor. When you say a dinosaur with wings, most people immediately think of just 2 wings. But the Microraptor is different, because aside from having wings on its arms, it also has wings on its legs. Yes, 4 wings. And that's why it's one of the weirdest dinosaurs discovered by scientists. The Microraptor is small compared to other dinosaurs, but it's very important in studying how some prehistoric animals started to fly. It was discovered in China, and according to the fossils found by scientists, it really had long feathers not just on its front legs, but also on its hind legs. This means its appearance wasn't just made up by artists, its body was truly unique. When you look at its reconstruction, it looks like a small raptor with an extra pair of wings. It had a long tail, feathered arms, feathered legs, and its whole body seemed made for gliding through the air while jumping or moving between trees. According to studies, it was possibly not capable of flying like modern birds today. It's more likely that it used its 4 wings to glide from one tree to another, like a flying squirrel, but the dinosaur version. And even though it was small, it was still a predator. There is evidence showing that it ate small animals, like birds, fish, and small mammals. So just think about that. A small dinosaur with 4 wings, able to glide through the air while hunting. And because so many Microraptor fossils have been found, scientists are more certain about what it really looked like compared to other prehistoric animals. That's why even today it remains one of the most important discoveries about the evolution of flight, because it showed that during the time of the dinosaurs, evolution was doing many strange experiments before the birds we know today evolved. Number 4, Bahadasaurus. Many long-necked dinosaurs have already been discovered, but Bahadasaurus seems to have a built-in weapon on its neck. At first glance, it looks like a normal plant-eating dinosaur. Long neck, long tail, big body. But when you see its neck, that's when everything starts to get unusual, because on top of its neck there are long spines sticking out forward. And they're not just long spines, these are curved like giant spears pointing toward the front of its body. It's like a natural fence attached to its neck. This dinosaur was discovered in Argentina, and according to scientists, this is one of the most unusual neck designs in the entire dinosaur world. Most dinosaurs with spikes on their necks have them pointing backward, but in Bahadasaurus, they point forward. That's why it looks scarier and more unique. Its whole neck seems like a warning sign. According to studies, it might also have had a tough covering. Its spikes, while it was still alive, might have had a tough covering, because if only bare bone was sticking out, it would easily break. That's why some scientists think there might have been a horn-like covering or a tough layer on top of the spikes. But even though we're not yet sure about the exact appearance of its skin, one thing is clear: its neck was really, truly weird. And what's even stranger is that its head wasn't actually that huge. In fact, its face was rather thin and small compared to its dramatic neck. So when you look at its whole body, the head just doesn't seem to fit with the rest of its appearance. A thin face behind those extremely long spikes. And that's the reason why Bahadasaurus is easy to remember. Because it's not just a simple long-necked dinosaur. It's like evolution itself changed its neck to make it look more dangerous. And it's more unique compared to other plant-eating dinosaurs. Number 3, Masyakasaurus. There are already many carnivorous dinosaurs that have sharp teeth, but with the Masyakasaurus, it's like its teeth grew the wrong way, and that's exactly the reason why it's one of the weirdest dinosaurs discovered by scientists. Scientists found its fossils in Madagascar. It's small compared to other theropod dinosaurs. Its body is only around 1 to 2 meters long. But even though it's small, its face is really unusual because the teeth at the front of its mouth don't point upwards like a normal dinosaur. Instead, they point outward and forward. Its teeth seem to be sticking out forward. When you first see its skull, it really looks like there's something wrong with its mouth, and the protrusion isn't accidental. It's not just a damaged or broken fossil. As scientists found more complete skeletons, they became even more certain that this is really what its mouth looked like. Its front teeth are long, with the tips slightly curved and shaped like hooks. As for the teeth at the back, they are arranged more normally. This means the front teeth have a different function compared to those at the back. According to scientists, it's possible that it uses its front teeth to quickly catch small animals. Then, it uses its back teeth to tear the food apart. And because of this, I believe it eats small prey, like lizards, small vertebrates, and other animals that are easy to catch. Aside from its unusual teeth, its skull is also long and low. Its head is not thick or heavy, unlike other carnivorous dinosaurs. That's why the teeth in front are even more noticeable. And because its body is also thin, it looks like nothing can hide its weird face. Honestly, when you see it, it looks more like an experimental creature than a normal predator. It's like evolution tried something out. It made a unique design for catching food. And even until now, there are still some details that aren't completely certain, like the exact appearance of its lips and gums while it was still alive. But the most important thing is still clear in the fossils. Its teeth really pointed forward. And that's the reason why even today, Masyakasaurus still has one of the strangest mouths in the entire dinosaur world. Number 2, Halska. When you say raptor dinosaur, most people immediately think of something like a velociraptor. Fast, fierce, with a short neck, and a body built for chasing prey. But the Halska doesn't really fit the normal appearance of raptors at first glance. It actually looks more like a strange water-loving bird than a dinosaur predator. This dinosaur was discovered in Mongolia, and it quickly became one of the weirdest raptors scientists have ever seen, because almost every part of its body is unusual. It has a long neck, a long and thin face, and its mouth is full of small teeth in the front. If you look at it from the side, it looks more like a mix of a swan, crocodile, and raptor. And that's the reason why many scientists were surprised by it, because it doesn't look like a normal raptor dinosaur. Most raptors have compact bodies and short necks. But the Halska, it has a long neck and its head sticks out forward, so it looks more like an animal searching for food in the water. According to studies, it also has a unique snout structure that possibly helps it sense movement in the water. Because of this, some scientists believe that it could possibly be semi-aquatic, meaning it lived partly near water. It's like a combination of a land predator and a water hunter. But until now, it's still being debated how truly adapted it was to living in water. Some researchers say it wasn't a full water hunter, but there are also other studies that support the idea that it might really have known how to hunt in water, even if its behavior is not yet fully certain. One thing is still clear from the fossils. Its body was very unusual. It had a long neck and a thin head. Its arms were different compared to a normal raptor. And even though it had the iconic sickle claw that is a mark of the raptor family, almost every other part of its body seemed like it came from a different kind of animal. Honestly, if you saw this by the lake back then, you might not immediately think it was a raptor dinosaur. It looked more like a strange water bird with teeth and killer claws. And that's the reason why it was one of the most unusual predators during the time of the dinosaurs. Number 1, Epidexipteryx. You don't have to be a giant dinosaur to look strange, because the Epidexipteryx was small, but it was one of the strangest looking of all. At first glance, it looked like a small feathered creature with a very long tail. But what's unusual is that its long tail feathers weren't for flying. They were really just for display, like decorations. This dinosaur was discovered in China, and according to scientists, it is one of the earliest pieces of evidence. That shows some dinosaurs started using feathers not for flying, but for display or to show off, and that's the reason why it looks unique. It has a small body, long fingers, and feathers on its body. But what stands out the most are the extremely long ribbon-like feathers on its tail. It's like there are long ribbons hanging at the back. And since it doesn't have complete flight wings like modern birds, it looks even more unusual, like evolution prioritized style over flight. Its face is also unusual. It has long teeth at the front of its mouth, while other parts of the jaw have almost no teeth. So when you look at it, it's like a mix of a small bird and a strange reptile. And even now, scientists still don't know the exact color of its feathers. It's still clear from the fossils that its tail was really dramatic. It was possibly used to attract a mate or to show off to other animals, like a peacock from the Jurassic period. And that's the reason why Epidexipteryx is special, because it showed that even before some dinosaurs could fly well, they were already starting to develop decorative feathers for display and social behavior. In other words, evolution had been experimenting with the appearance of dinosaurs for a long time, even before modern birds came to be.